Greenhouse gases. They're a group of compounds that trap heat in the atmosphere. They consist of methane, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases. The most prevalent is carbon dioxide, accounting for roughly 64% of all greenhouse gases. They result from numerous daily activities, but a large portion is due to vehicle emissions. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, when stacked up to other major greenhouse gas contributors in the United States, about 26% is emitted by transportation alone. When greenhouse gases are released, they dissipate and are mixed into the atmosphere globally, making this not just a local issue, but instead affecting the entire Earth. The presence of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere creates several harmful effects, such as climate change, global warming, depletion of the ozone layer, rise in sea level, and adverse effects on biodiversity.
Thanks, Will. Global warming is definitely a huge concern, but those problems seem so far in the future. Some people might wonder if there is a more imminent threat caused by pollution. Let's talk for a moment about the threats vehicle emissions pose to us right now. Let's talk for a moment about what threats transportation pollution poses to us right now. The World Health Organization estimates that 4.6 million people die each year from causes directly attributed to air pollution. Researchers from MIT's Laboratory for Aviation and the Environment found that such air pollution causes about 200,000 early deaths each year in America. In 1970, the Clean Air Act passed, which established national ambient air quality standards. These laws required that the EPA identify and set standards for pollutants identified as harmful to human health and the environment. The 6 criteria pollutants are known as carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, ozone, sulfur dioxide, particulate matter, and lead. As you can see from these graphs, an amendment to the Clean Air Act in 1990 created a decrease in all criteria pollutants. These criteria pollutants can be described in the following way. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas that can be harmful when inhaled. It is mostly released through chimneys, furnaces, gas stoves, and machinery that burns fossil fuel. Breathing air with high concentration of CO reduces the amount of oxygen that can be transported in the bloodstream to critical organs like the heart and the brain. At very high levels, which are usually inhaled indoors, CO, carbon monoxide, can cause dizziness, confusion, unconsciousness, and death. NOx primarily gets into the air from the burning of fuel. NO2 forms from emissions from cars, trucks, and buses and power plants. Breathing air with a high NO2 concentration can irritate airways and the human respiratory system. Such exposure over short periods of time can aggravate respiratory diseases, particularly asthma. In 1970, in September of 2005, the Chinese government was preparing for a military celebration. They wanted to have clear skies above Beijing. In order to accomplish this, they shut down 12,000 factories which burned coal and fossil fuel for a period of 15 days. They also only permitted cars to drive every other day. Through these reductions, the air became much clearer. The picture above, on top, shows the 24-hour period that Beijing had clear skies because of the 15-day moratorium on factories and vehicles. The below picture shows just 24 hours after the cars were allowed back onto the road and the factories kicked back in.
We are constantly on the hunt to find ways to cut down on vehicle emissions by implementing vehicles that utilize clean fuel and technology. One example of this is hydrogen-powered vehicles. Although there are large obstacles to overcome in order to get these vehicles on the road, the value they could provide in cutting vehicle emissions could be invaluable. According to MIT professor John Haywood, Hydrogen fuel cells have potential for reducing harmful emissions and will decrease the U.S.'s dependence on foreign petroleum. Let's take a look.
Imagine a car that's got electric motors in every wheel, an onboard source to generate electricity, no mechanical linkages whatsoever, and a fuel more prominent than any element in the universe, with drinkable water as an exhaust.
Ah, très bien.
Fantasy? No. It's a hydrogen car, and it's right around the corner.